Alright, what's going on, everybody? I'm DunkinMan. I'm back again here with some more of the socket hangout because, the socket's still messing me up. So, why don't I just hop into an NU battle and then I'm going to watch maybe an RU or a UU battle after that, see if I know what the hell is going on there. But right now, something versus IB Life sounds like a pretty good battle to me. As we can see here, IB Life starts off with his Levani, which is a pretty solid lead because he can get up the sticky web basically for free against Something's team. Something does have a Pikachu, and he's actually got a Chatot. Wow, I didn't know that was an NU. I thought it was an RU poke now. Um, Regardless, we see the X-Scissor come out and do heavy damage to the Cradily as the Cradily just sets up the Stealth Rocks, and then in comes Pikachu. Interesting to take the X-Scissor. Not so sure about that. I would have gone into my Grand Bowl if I were something, but he does not seem to be much of anything at this moment. So Levani's actually going to outspeed the Chatot here and pop him with a Poison Jab, get the poison, and then die to a Chatter, but I assume that was just a suicide lead. Now I expect the Regirock to come in on this, but instead we get the Kling Kling, which is also decent, resists both of Chatot's stabs. Maybe it won't take them as well, though, because I do assume that Regirock is, what do you call it, Assault Vest. Here, the shift gear comes out from Kling Klang, and then I expect a gear grind to come out and crush the Cradily. We will see if that happens. Yes, it does. One hit takes out the rest of Cradily's life. We find out that the Kling Klang is Life Orb, so I don't know if he'll be able to. Something will be able to stall it, but he will be able to come in with his Grand Bull and die because of the clear body preventing the attack drop. And yep, there we go. We get a forfeit. Well, that was pretty short. These guys were decent on the ladder, I guess. Neither of them were in the top 500, and something was a bit lower. So, not surprised to see the forfeit there. Uh, let's check out another one. That one was a bit too short. I'd like to get one that's a full battle, if I can do that. Joanna Man versus Duck Boss Josh. Dusk Boss Josh. That's hard to say. Both teams do have the Dusk Noir. That's about all they share in common. I see Basculin. He was pretty popular in my last upload. Wow, Dusk Noir just completely destroys this Archeops, which was just a lead Stealth Rocks Archeops. Not too common. But neither is Life Orb Dusk Noir now that I mention it. From here, I expect probably Dusk Boss's Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo makes sense if he's got Pursuit or something. Alternatively, Dusk Boss's Dust Noir could potentially stack up alright, but it would not enjoy taking a Shadow Punch or Shadow Sneak from Joanna Man's Dust Noir. So we get the payback instead of the Pursuit. Wow, and we see the Will-O-Wisp come out from Dust Noir. Interesting to have on a Life Orb set. Definitely not very common. However, the payback does basically nothing from the Buffalont, so we may be expecting a switch out potentially into. I'm not really sure what, but Buffalon's probably just going to stay. And he goes for the Iron Head instead, gets some solid damage on Avalugg, but Avalugg is too fat for that to matter. He can recover as well, so I think staying with Buffalont at this point is not a great idea for Josh. He's probably going to switch out. He goes into a Selgor. He may have the Focus Blast here. Selgor, Avalugg, excuse me, does have the Sturdy though, so he won't be dying in one hit no matter what. Alternatively, a Selgor could go for the not the spikes, but no, he goes for the Bug Buzz, gets a crit. Avalugg does hang on and hits the Selgor with the Rapid Spin, getting rid of the Stealth Rocks and ensuring a little bit more comfort for his Altaria and his Flareon. Altaria comes in here and takes the Sludge Bomb. That was a decent play on the part of Josh because, the Bug Buzz may have been predictable. The Sledge Bomb was a sure kill and was most likely to get good damage off on anything except for the Dust Noir. Here we see that the Aselgor is weakness policy. He goes for the Endure to get it on the Flamethrower from the Altaria. Luckily, Altaria did go for the Flamethrower, I guess, for Josh, but still after the +2, Aselgor is not strong enough to hurt Altaria and goes down to the next Flamethrower. Now, Josh's Dust Noir comes out, and we get to see what sort of set he runs on his Dust Noir. We find out that DunkinMan's Altaria is Assault Fist, which is a pretty interesting set. I have to say, Altaria's got really decent base special defense in the first place, and the natural cure helps it get rid of any statuses that might afflict it. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. Dust Noir comes in and tries to hit the Altaria with the Ice Punch, but ends up hitting the Avalugg, finishes it off with a Fire Punch. Now I'm assuming that this Dust Noir is probably Assault Vest, which is, in my opinion, a pretty good set as long as you don't get knocked off, because then you're virtually useless, and you do lack recovery, which Dust Noir really could use sometimes. But it's very fat. Oh no, it's got the Enigma Berry. Very interesting. Definitely not a common move. And he gets to paralyze on a Thunder Punch. Well, this Dust Noir is just full of surprises, I suppose. It seems like he may be able to outspeed Basculin at this point. Yes, he can. He will hit him with a Thunder Punch and finish him off. The Altaria has something to lose by coming in. He does not want to take an Ice Punch. Probably the best bet here is DunkinMan's own Dust Noir, the Flareon. And I don't think that the Lunatone can really do much to this Dust Noir. So Flareon does come in. Flare Blitz is probably coming. I expect to switch into War Turtle. Oh, no, he goes for the Protect. Not bad to scout for what sort of attack Dust Noir has. And it does have the Shadow Punch. Now, I expect to switch into Carbink primarily here, but also potentially the War Turtle. It seems that Josh is caught off guard by the Gut set, but there was not really much he could do to stop the Guts. He lets his Dust Noir go down to the Flare Blitz. I assume that he didn't see that coming, or he didn't want to bring Carbink in on that, though I do think it could take the hit really well. It was pretty obvious that a superpower was not coming against the Dust Noir, just in case the Dust tried to stay in. So he really wouldn't have taken much damage at all upon switching in. Now he gets a safe switch, and he's probably not going to be able to do a whole lot to Flareon. If he's got the rock move, I suggest he goes for it now, but we will just see. Facade does basically nothing to Carbink, and excuse me for a second. Yep, the Carbink gets the Reflect up, and now the Flareon won't be able to do anything. Carbink can set up his Stealth Rocks basically for free. As the Dust Noir switches in, I don't think the Dust Noir will be able to do a whole lot either. And we'll just have to see how that goes. Dust Noir eats the Toxic, sends out a Will-O-Wisp to the Carbink, probably its most effective way of wearing the Carbink down at this point. And it's not a bad play. I don't really know what the Carbink can do from here. I'm not sure if it carries attacking moves. It may want to go for the Light Screen just because it has the opportunity, and because it would really be helpful against the Altaria and the Lunatone. We'll see here. He does go for the Light Screen, which was a pretty decent play. Alternatively, going for the Rock type move would not have done anything to Lunatone, I'm sure. Now this gives Lunatone a pretty safe opportunity to go for the Rock Polish. He will be able to outspeed pretty much everything, though I think he would have in the first place. Not sure about Buffalont. But if he was speed invested at all, I think he'd outspeed this and the War Turtle. Psychic is not going to do a whole lot to the Carbink because the Carbink is behind the Light Screen. And now the Carbink can get up the other Reflect, which will last for 5 turns. And he can switch into Buffalont. He's not going to take anything from the Psychic. And I expect probably a payback is coming because it will be super effective, and it will hurt the Dust Noir if it chooses to switch in. it will probably do a decent amount to Altaria as it switches in because of the rocks. And let me check its health real quick. Yeah, it'll definitely do a really decent amount. And oh wow, oh wow, the freeze, just what Josh needed, just what Josh needed. Um, but Lunatone faints to the poison, and Buffalon is sitting there chilling. We'll see how Josh chooses to recover from this moment. Not much was lost that turn, but if he doesn't wake up or if he doesn't thaw on the following turn, then he will be in a bit of trouble unless he chooses to switch out. So I expect Flareon can probably come in here and do really solid work, but Dusknoir can also come in. Not really sure what he plans to do. Maybe he'll Brick Break. That wouldn't be too bad of a play because the screens are there. No, he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, perhaps expecting Buffalon to wake up. I guess he doesn't have the Brick Break, which is alright. And probably on the next turn, Buffalon will wake up. I don't think he'll be able to kill Dusknoir, and he'll probably eat this Will-O-Wisp. No, he does kill him with the payback. So the the freeze actually seemed to help Josh in that situation because he could not get Will-O-Wisped. Now Flareon comes back in. If he wants to go for anything but Facade at this point, he will take a lot of damage. No, he does just go for the Facade, which leaves Buffalon with just enough HP to KO back with the head charge. They both go down because Buffalon takes the recoil, and now Altaria has to face off from about 27% against the Carbink and the Wartortle, who hasn't seen the light of day yet. Now, maybe the Wartortle carries the Ice Beam, perhaps not. There's not much that the Altaria can do from here on in because he is Assault Vest, though. And basically, Dragon Pulse is going to do just a little bit. Toxic is going to eat Altaria, and that ensures that it will go down within the next couple of turns. And Man's Altaria is not able to attack the Wartortle or the Carbink effectively. So Wartortle goes for Rapid Spin. It's his only attack outside of Toxic, which is not an attack. Just to do some damage and let his Wartortle go down to the Altaria if it does, but it won't. Altaria will die here to the Toxic, and that will be a good game for those guys. Alright. They were awfully low on the ladder, but it was still a pretty decent battle, I must say. They played how they played. So, let's see. I'm going to pause this real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and this time I'm going to be looking for a UU battle. I guess one between Leek and Ben Hallow. So, as I hop into it, I see Frostlass and Azelf. Azelf does outspeed, knocks off the Focus Sash from the Frostlass. Frostlass gets up one spike here, and that's good for Ben Hallow because he was able to take out that annoying little threat that it is Frostlass with just a couple of hits, and now he only has to deal with one spike. And he does have a spinner, so he'll be looking pretty good there. Here, Ben Hallow switches into the Suicune on the Arcanine, knowing that he can take any hit, and it's probably a defensive set, considering that it had Intimidate. The burn doesn't affect Suicune in pretty much any way, just wears it down a little bit faster than it should, but most likely this is a Crocoon set who will be setting up Calm Minds and going for Scalds. He does go for a Scald here. It looks that Machamp switches in, perhaps expecting the Guts from the Scald burn, but does not get it. He's going to go... Nope, he is no guard, so he was not expecting the burn. The burn definitely would be helpful at this juncture for the Suicune. However, that Dynamic Punch did way too much for this to be a standard Machamp with Assault Vest, or for this Suicune to be max defense. So, it looks like this Suicune is going to end up going down at some point, unless it gets off a rest right here against the Slowbro. An interesting switch, but I suppose that Leek didn't really want to take the chance of getting burned, again. So, Slowbro is actually going to predict the rest and go, or the switch out, and go for the Calm Mind himself. So that would keep him ahead of the Suicune, and Suicune really wouldn't be able to touch it ever because of their shared water typing. Now, Slowbro is too slow to outspeed Tentacruel, gets hazed before the Psyshock can hit it and take it out. So it appears that Tentacruel will be able to get off the spin and die to the Psyshock, leaving Slowbro right where he started. Ampharos can probably come in, so can Azelf. I'm expecting a knockoff at this particular point. Possibly a U-turn after that, not really sure. But Slowbro will get damaged if he stays in. Arcanine comes in. Oh no, I see the Scarf. Nice. Alright, so he tricks the Scarf onto the defensive Arcanine, and he was hoping to get the defensive Slowbro, but either way, it worked pretty well for him. Flare Blitz comes out. Obviously, Suicune can handle that, and I'm probably going to see a double here, or maybe the Sleep Talk, hoping for the Scald from Suicune. Yep. We do get the Scald, so the Azelf doesn't take that very well. It does seem to be an offensive variant, which is pretty common for Azelf. Or at least it's a speedy, non-bulky set, so that it can set up rocks and, all of that stuff. So Suicune does pull the Calm Mind from the Sleep Talk, which is good for Suicune. Leek's got a decision to make here about what he wants to do. I don't think the Azelf can do much. Yep, the explosion was probably the best it could do. However, it really doesn't do a whole lot to Suicune, so that does confirm that this is a fully defensive Suicune, as is usual on Crocune, but that must mean that the Machamp is probably banded, considering that it didn't show any item before and that really did too much damage. Here, Slowbro comes back in. I know Suicune can't touch that, and I think Leek knows that too, so he is going to just probably stay in and go for a Calm Mind in the Suicune's face. Don't know if Suicune will switch out. He does have the advantage in terms of stat boosts, but it really won't change much when Slowbro starts firing off Psyshocks. Conversely, probably the best switch in for Ben Hollow on this Slowbro is his Ampharos at this point. It will probably have to take some sort of Psyshock after it switches in, unless he goes for the Volt Switch into Honchkrow or Azelf, neither of whom would really appreciate a Psyshock and a Rock switch in, so we will see how that goes. I expect the Mega Evolution here, possibly a Charge Beam, not entirely sure. He does go for the Thunderbolt, not the Volt Switch. He gets the Paralyze, which is great. He gets the full Paralyze, which is even more great because that means he doesn't have to take a +1 Psyshock. And now Ampharos can just freely stay in as Leek leaves, and it does seem that that's probably going to be the end of the battle there. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back because he's just so disappointed in his Slowbro. Very, very poorly trained. Well, I'm just going to get out of here because I don't really care how it ends. At this point, it does seem like Ampharos has quite an advantage. If not, Crocune will eventually be able to set up once this Slowbro is gone, and Lucario is Lucario. So, yeah, that's pretty much GG in favor of Ben Hollow, and I'm just going to drop out of there. Yep, that's the end of this one, so let me know what you guys think if you want to see more other tiers other than NU. Like I said before, NU is sort of my expertise area, if I had one. And so I'll always be doing one of those because I enjoy it so much. But, like I said, I'll try and switch out. Just tell me which tiers you'd be interested in, and I'll try and make up for that. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.